Hey, what's up, everybody? Good evening. Good evening. How are you? I didn't get my gun. I got outbid by $20. And I didn't want to pursue a bidding war. I bid on the piece, and if it went through, it was going to go through. If it wasn't, it wasn't. So we'll just keep an eye out. We'll try to pick up that piece in the next year or two. In the meanwhile, I found out why my AR was jamming. I need to go have an adjustment made on that gun. Anyway. Thought I would just pull up the Hodinkee site like we did with Clivers the other day and see what they got on their site. I haven't looked at their site for watches. Maybe just but one time before, when they first started selling watches a couple of years ago. What was it, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago? They used to sell like some vintage watches, right? But apparently they have a huge watch store now. Looks like it. So I thought it'd be neat to just see what some of these look like. What's up, Nate? What's this Nevada Grenchen? Never heard of it. It's a decent looking watch, whatever it is. The bronze Oris look nice. There's an Omega I like. I actually really like this Omega. This Omega is a hot watch. And I'm going to tell you, I actually like this better than the Rolex Sea Dweller. I really do. I think it looks more like a deep diver than the Rolex Sea Dweller looks like a deep diver. That bulkness in the case, And the bezel, that heaviness, it's giving that heaviness weight. It looks like a deep diver. And I absolutely like the bezel way more than the Rolex bezel. Absolutely do. Even the aesthetics of it, like whatever the texture is or whatever the component is that they're using, non-ceramic, whatever they're using, just steel or whatever, aluminum, titanium, it looks nicer. I think that's a hot watch. As a matter of fact, maybe it's. I wonder how hard it is to get. I can see people going after this one. What do you think? To me, this is a winner. This might be one of the best releases of. Would this be 2022? I mean, what else do you got that was released in 2022 besides this bad boy? And everybody's all hyped up on Omega right now. Well, I don't know about everybody. I don't keep track of any schmucks out there in the watch world. I know I've been harping on this one since I seen it. I don't give a damn what anybody else thinks. I think this watch is number one right here. I don't know if you noticed, I don't even want to look at any of those Swatch Omegas. Those don't even ring my bell. I don't even want to know what they have, what's available. We won't even look or ever talk about them ever. But I actually think that's a great thing that they're doing that. Those quartz Swatch releases or whatever. It doesn't take away from our market whatsoever. No market share at all. If anything, it introduces market share because it'll bring in quartz users who will be curious into probably learning what a moon watch and a mechanical watch is one day. At least it gives them that opportunity that might not be there otherwise. The thought might not even be there, you know. Once they get that watch, Omega might market to them through email, through mailings, through social media. They might market to them mechanical watches and things like this. But naturally, that transition or that marketing accompaniment to bring a Swatch user to the mechanical side. Come on, between you and I, we know that's never going to happen anyway. All right. I mean, that's a fundamental decision when somebody decides to go to quartz, from quartz to mechanical. They're making a conscious decision about being a watch person, really. And the primary reason for the lack of that marketing attrition or change would be that quite simply they're dollar factored out. I mean, a Swatch quartz watch is going to be what, $200-300? What are they, $300? You can't touch a mechanical watch for less than a couple thousand or whatever, right? So the quartz market's for the quartz market. Somebody who wants a watch but either doesn't want to spend the money on one or can't afford one. But looking at this one on the screen, this one's just great. I'd love to see what it looks like with a titanium bracelet on it, if that's even a possibility. But I really like it. Can't stop looking at it. It's one of those watches. They really did a good job with this one. All right, let's see what else there is. So look at, there's a black dial one, and then there's a deep sea dweller version one where they sort of, I wanted to say, copied the sea dweller fading blue. Huh? Isn't that interesting? Oh, and look at the bezel is shiny. It's glossy. Is it ceramic on this one? The original prototype crafted out of titanium. Let me see here. I don't want to read all this. I'm looking for the bezel. I can't find it exactly. That's all right. Oh man. Fuck. Give me a minute, man. I'm having trouble. I'm having trouble clicking the mouse. My hands are twisting. Holy fuck. How am I supposed to roll a cigarette? Fuck. Give me a second. So, you know what? Maybe we can read what this Omega's about while I'm trying to roll a cigarette because I can't get up to go get a cigar. So, we're going to do whatever's in front of us. God damn it. I started this live stream 25 minutes out so I could roll a cigarette and do what I needed to do, and I just can't do nothing. Fuck. Can't do nothing. I can barely walk. All right, where are we at? Let's see. So in 2019, just before COVID, Victor Vescovo went down to the Mariana Trench. So he had somebody else go down to the Mariana Trench because, what's his name? James Cameron went down there like, what, 12 years ago? How long ago was that? It was a long time ago now. So someone else went down there now. Went a little deeper because, of course, they got to beat the record of the prior guy. And Omega hit them up and strapped this dive watch to the outside, just like Rolex did. How funny, huh? In fact, there were actually 3 ultra deep professionals on this dive, one on each of the main vessel's robotic arms, and an additional one on a detachable lander vehicle. The prototype Ultra Deep is officially the world's deepest watch. I mean, that stands for something, and it looks good. Man, I'm telling you, this is a good watch. I like it. Let's see. So, constructed in a new, for this model, proprietary stainless steel alloy dubbed Omega Steel, the new Ultra Deep measures 45.5 wide and 18 thick, thinner than the Planet Ocean chronograph, a real feat when considering its 6,000 meter depth rating. Wow. The dial is finished in a gloss blue to black gradient that pairs very nicely alongside the ceramic bezel. There we go. So it is a ceramic bezel on this one with liquid metal diving scale, right? The bracelet is a new design. So this one's in steel. It's not titanium. The bracelet is a new design with sharper links and polished edges. The clasp features a push-button 6-position micro adjustment with a 2.3 millimeter extension, like the glide lock. Let's see. Four patents are pending on the design, So it's got an escape, a gas escapement to disperse pressure. A special kind of crystal that won't break under pressure. Now it says here the original prototype was, of course, crafted out of titanium. When Omega set out to create a steel ultra deep for their catalog, designers found traditional watchmaking stainless steel to be insufficient at the pressure of 6,000 meters, where titanium has held a yield strength of 800 to 900. I think that's like pressures per meter or something. Atmosphere pressures per meter or something. Industry standard stainless checks in around 200 atmosphere pressure per meter. The vast difference here meant designers needed to change the entire principle of the ultra deep to offer it in steel or develop a better material. The resulting Omega steel alloy has a yield strength bridging the gap well enough to utilize all of the innovative tech built into the non-helium escape valve. 6,000 meter ultra deep. A nice positive externality of the proprietary and custom alloys. The color, Omega worked to decrease the B value of the metal's tone, meaning it is noticeably less yellow and whiter in the metal and on the wrist. Among Omega's catalog, no watch better exemplifies the professional designation of the Seamaster Planet Ocean Ultra Deep. Let's see. It has a master chronometer caliber 8912 in it, which is the latest caliber. 3.5 hertz, 60-hour power reserve. Wow, I like the story. I like it. You guys like it? So it's steel. We thought it was titanium. It's steel. You see what you get for reading? Reading's important sometimes. Okay, let me see if I can roll this thing. Man, I got a doctor appointment. 10 hours. Man. It's crazy how quickly life changes. Man, I was doing okay a month ago. Now all of a sudden I can't fucking walk. The fuck? All right. All right, let's see what else we're going to look at here. You know, one of the reasons I never bought the Sea Dweller. Why don't I have a Sea Dweller? You know, because it's not practical. It's not really a wearable watch. It's not a usable watch. I mean, I have a sub date. I have 3 subs. Why are you going to wear a deep diver? You know, I feel that's a real tool watch. So, same with this Omega. It's not something you're going to wear on the daily. So, the most I can say is if you're a collector like us and you want to have it in your collection, but to me, it's one of those watches I would never wear in my collection. So I won't bother with it. You know? So there's the 2 versions, 12,003, 11,2. So the matte black version costs more, which I like this one much better. Man, actually, they both look good, but I like the matte black version with the blue. Yeah, I like that one, and I like especially like the non ceramic bezel. That's especially what I like about it. The matte look. That's the one I would get. Oh man, look at they got a red one. Oh wow. Oh, and there's another version here. I don't know what the difference is here. The strap. Oh, this one's on a bracelet. Oh shit, you got a bracelet option, and it's cheap. Look, 11.6. So you should be able to get a bracelet and put it on this. Oh, this is the titanium one for 700 more. Okay, so here's the Omega steel, and here's the titanium one. The titanium one's not going to come on a bracelet. I see. Oh, there's definitely some decisions there to make for somebody. You might want to go with the steel just to get the bracelet. The rubber strap looks nice too. You can't put the steel bracelet on the titanium watch, so you'd have to make a decision. Do I want that or not? Tough decision. Now I like these. I really like these. Those look great. Yeah, I like the gold one. Copper, gold, saffron, whatever they want to call it. I like it. And I like them all, to be honest. I like them all. Man. They even have a small seconds with a date. Oh man. Hamilton. I think he's big on Hamilton, aren't they? Uh, uh, Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc doesn't make cheap watches. They're expensive watches. Do you guys know anybody who buys Mont Blanc watches? What's the deal with that with Mont Blanc watches? How come nobody ever talks? This is a good question, actually. This is a really good question for somebody who is in the know in the watch wholesale space, right? Not us. But the question would be this: how does Mont Blanc survive their watch brand at those price levels when nobody ever discusses them? Like, none of us in the watch community ever talk about Mont Blanc. I've never seen any of the watch guys, like any of the guys selling watches, Tim Mosso, Roman Scharf, any of them ever mention Mont Blanc. Like honestly, like not even one time. I don't even think I've ever heard the name come out of their mouths ever from any watch person. So I mean, I've got two pens. I just bought a $750 pen from them, right? I've got two pens, but yeah, just a month ago I bought a pen, right? So it's like what happened to yeah, how do they maintain those pricing? How does Mont Blanc maintain the integrity of that pricing? Do they, do are they just are they a pen company and they carry the watches and they just don't move them and they just have them there and it's a non concern for them, but they have overhead and employees, I mean, for those watches, so don't they still need to make a run of it? I just don't know how that works for that particular. Curious about that. I really like these Omegas with all these extra functions on them. I like these chronoscopes a lot. I think they're fun. I mean, it's got a tactile and a pulsation dial and a telemetry dial, and the telemetry dial is the most useful of all three, to be honest. In all my watches, I've used the telemetry dial more than the tactile. You know what the telemetry dial is, right? When you see a lightning strike and you hear a thundercloud, you click on you hit the chronograph, and then you can tell how far it is away. And I've actually used that, like when I'm with my kids and I want to show them how the watch works. My ball storm chaser. It's kind of cool. Um, I mean, I don't know. It's the only time I've ever used the damn chronograph. I don't ever use a chronograph. I used to use the chronograph when I was flushing my boat. I did that every single time on my sub. On my sub, I mean, not chronograph, but I would set my bezel for 15 minutes. That's the most I ever used any timing was to flush my boat for 15 minutes and just using the Submariner bezel. I'm not going to take my Daytona onto the boat. So, but yeah, I like these chronoscopes. These are, I think they have a technical look above a regular Speedmaster. So like when you look at this next to a Speedmaster next to it, you see um, racing watch, more technical watch, more complicated watch. It's got more stuff on it, more readings. It looks a little bit more intricate, more scholastic, more architecty. I really like it. More Patek Philippe. Ooh, that black one looks pretty nifty. That looks hot. Wow, look at that black one. That looks pretty sexy. Wow. Man, that is absolutely stunning. How could you not like that watch? That is beautiful. God, I love the clasp. Look at the clasp with those beautiful lines going through it and the Omega emblem. That's so nice. Look at that. That's actually really, really beautiful. Man, this one really hits it out of the park. I like that black one. This one looks nice. It's different. So legible too. Man, I like look at the sweep seconds hand. Look at the sweep second hand. It's red and white. Isn't that cool? What a nice little feature. That looks amazing. Whoa! And you know what? Look how smart they are. Oh my god! Look at that design. The second sweep hand is color coordinated with with the gauges on the dial. Look at that. So that you can follow it around and keep track of it. That is spectacular. You know what? You have to admit that. You have to admit that. That is absolutely spectacular. As simple as a concept as this is, I haven't seen it done. Holy crap. This is like a totally simple concept, what they've done here. And look, I have never looked at a chronoscope in detail. I don't know if they've done this for a few years already, but I have I've never seen anybody do this. Color coordinate the sweep hand to match the gauges going around. That is absolutely brilliant. Holy crap. I mean, because you can look at it and imagine following it around, how easy it is to follow it and read it, keep track of it and look at it, as opposed to if it was just all white. This really lets you track it. Wow. That's great. That is really neat. I'm going to say that is fucking neat. What up, William? What up, Lance? Yeah, were we looking at that one with Clive yesterday? That's right. Which one was that? I forgot which one that was. But I remember, now that you remember it, yeah, it was a manual wind. Oh, that's the one that Bud was looking at. I think Bud's thinking about getting that one too. Well, look at this Seamaster. This one's pretty neat looking. Oh, this is a pre-order coming soon. Look, this is a new one also. Look at this. Oh, this is on the Hodinkee site. Coming soon pre-order. So what is this? This is a sailing watch. This is a Yachtmaster. They have really nice Yachtmasters. If you're a yachtsman, that's for sure. Well, that's kind of interesting. Hodinkee's letting us look at some stuff we haven't really seen before. It's kind of cool to go to a different site and see what gets called up, right? Let's go back and see where we're at now. Hermes. I mean, admittedly, that's a nice looking watch. And I'm not even opposed to the new tags. These new tags look pretty nice, actually. I like that whole design element. I mean, like this one in particular. I even like the dial. This was my favorite dial out of the ones we glanced at the other day, and I kind of like that, even that color dial. It's that rhodium color, gray rhodium. It looks nice. I like how that color matches the steel. But man, look, they want 6,300 for that Altavia tag next to it. That's a nice looking watch though, isn't it? I like the pushers and the crown, and even the thin ceramic bezel. It looks really cool. Now I don't know about Tag asking 6,300 for a watch though. What do you guys think about that? It's very pretty though, isn't it? I want to say it really is pretty. Check this out. Wow, that's actually really pretty. I like that. That's a nice looking watch. I mean, hey, if I seen somebody wearing that, I would compliment them on that. That's a beautiful looking watch. I'm gonna have to say, for some reason, I don't hate the date placement. You know how I'm always opposed to the date being on a chronograph watch? I'm actually not opposed to this one. The way they did it, it's non-encumbering. It's offset in a subdial. It's kind of interesting. It's unobtrusive. I like it. I'm fine with that date there. As a matter of fact, actually looks kind of good there with the small seconds offset. I actually like it. That's a kind of a nice feature the way they did it there. If other brands did it similarly, I might be more less inclined to not like date chronographs. I'm gonna have to give a Tag Heuer a green check mark on this one. I like it. I'm not so sure about the pricing though. You know, I don't want to wait till the secondary market and see if I can grab one of these for $3,500. Uh, mm, oh man, man! I tell you, there's something for saying there's mental fortitude, man. Keeping my mind on these watches, man, does help a little bit with the pain. I'm fucking, I'm dying, man. I'm dying. But mind over matter. Let's go. Mind over matter. So my kid loves his G Shock. You know, I got him a nice G Shock. It's got tide. It's a tidal G Shock. You know, I mean, for someone who goes in the water surfing and stuff, boating. But I'm glad I changed it because I bought him one. Then I saw another one online that I said, man, that one looks a little slicker. And I changed it up. But he's very happy with his G Shock. He wears it every day. He's never really been into a watch until now that I got him that G Shock. Now he wears it. So that's kind of cool. The Zodiacs, that's a cool, inexpensive brand. I mean, look at that, $1,000. Um, Zodiac, I think they're very. I don't know how close they are to Doxa. If they're somewhat related or if they know each other, they certainly market together. And I say that because I don't know about it anymore, but years ago when I did get my Doxa, I got a lot of marketing from both Doxa and from Zodiac. And I never applied with Zodiac for anything. So I just felt they were related somehow. And I like this. I like this. It's fun. That's styled after a Porsche, huh? How neat. Look at that. It's only 775 too. I like that. Man, that's fun. I wouldn't mind getting that just to for fun. Be a cool watch to wear. Man, come on, that's actually really cool. Damn, I could get that for it's sold out, isn't it? That is so cool. Japan hybrid movement. When you know when you're buying something like this, you don't care about what's in it or anything. It just looks cool. Very fun. I totally would get this. cool is that? I really like that. It's so cool. It'd be fun to keep your eyes out for stuff like this and grab them when you see them, huh? I think they actually probably have it, or is it sold out? Sold out, so you can't get it. You have to click get updates. You know, I think that's a cool thing. You know what's a cool thing? Is after you've acquired all your watches, your big bangers, you got all your Rolex, you got your Omegas, you got everything you need. What's left? Do you still need to keep popping out 10, 20 grand for a new watch just to keep buying watches when you already have 12 or 15? I don't think so. Can't I stop and smell something other than the roses all the time? Like, can I stop and smell an Autodromo for $775 and buy that and let that be the watch I buy for the next couple of years so that there's no financial outlay for watches for 2 years other than $800? I mean, it's not a, I think it's fine, right? I mean, I kind of got everything I need. You know what I mean? Now it's time to like chill and you can add cool things to the collection that don't have to cost 10 grand, you know, like that one we just looked at, for example. How fun would that be? That's a sexy watch right here. Look at this one. Whoa. Look at that. Yeah, 34 and a half for that Omega you were talking about, right? The No Day Panda. That's probably over 15 grand, right? You're talking vintage. The Joe Siffert cream color dial. Let's see what that is. It's saying here, Joe Siffert. Let's see what that is. Let's see what that is that he's talking about. Joe Stiffert. Siffert. Let's see what that is. Where are we at? Let's see. What is this? In 1971, his friend Joe Siffert, Jack Hewer's friend Joe Siffert, suffered a fatal car crash at Brands Hatch. He couldn't get out of his burning car. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Watches that have horological meaning. I like that. 10 to 15 grand. Probably. Lenge. Yeah, yeah, for sure they are. I mean, maybe they don't get enough cred because they're not Swiss, or they don't have as many popular reference models that people hype on, like Nautilus and Royal Oak and Daytona. But yeah, yeah, it is pretty nice. Fries with mayo. It's got a nice backstory too. And 71's my birth year, so that's kind of cool too. He died the same year I was born. Um, let's actually go to let's go. Let's see what we're gonna see what they got here for Lange. See what they got here for Lange. What we haven't seen on here for a while is any of their sports watches. It's just all dress. See that? So you're not seeing any Odysseus on here. Isn't that interesting? When's the last time you've seen Odysseus for sale? People are hoarding that watch, aren't they? Man, if you have an Odysseus, that's when you don't want to sell. Remember, everybody hated on that watch when it came out? Man, that's actually a good looking watch. If I'm doing Lange, for me, I'm just doing something like this. But I kind of like the small seconds. But honestly, I'm doing something like this. I'll be under 20,000. I'll get a nice marquee piece like this. It's got the beautiful Lange and Son marquee on the dial, just like this. Made in Germany. Nothing else. Just nice, pure, simple gold watch. This is, for me, man, even this one right here, without the seconds, honestly, for me, this is the epitome of Lang right here. Lange. This is it for me. Look at that, man. That's as good as it gets right there. You don't need nothing else. You don't need nothing else right there, man. You're sporting the marquee of Lange and Son. Beautiful dial. Just doesn't get more pure. That's as pure as a watch can get right here. Fucking A. I mean, if you're looking to spend 15, 17 grand on a proper watch and you don't have a watch and you're looking for a proper watch, hell, this is the proper watch. I mean, a gold watch is a proper watch, right? Like if you don't own a watch at all and you're going to have a watch, it should be a gold watch, you know? And this would check that box. This is all you need right here. So watch for life. But man, to be honest, after looking even at this, I don't need the small seconds. It actually looks nice, so clean, without any comps on it. You don't need the seconds on this watch. This would be the one I'd get. Just like this, yellow gold and everything. Look at that. Fucking A, look at that. Beautiful. Man, I almost wasn't gonna do a stream, man. I was sitting here thinking to myself, man, you ain't got nothing to talk about watches, dude. You're just sitting here fucking crying. What the fuck you gonna do? Go on and talk about? We found some watches to talk about. Cool. I needed that. Beautiful. The A-Lane Copper Blue. You're going to get it in May? Huh. I don't believe I have seen that. Do you have that watch that's in your avatar? That Starry Night Lange that's in your avatar? I like that one a lot. I think that dial is magnificent. Mm. Well, you know my favorite Lange. Everybody knows me. That my favorite Lange watch is the International Time watch. Nobody makes a better world timer than Lange. If I had a choice, that would be my ultimate Lange. Would be getting the world timer for sure. Datograph as well, but we all know I missed my chance on a Datograph for $50,000. That'll probably be always the biggest regret in the watch game. Fuck, I don't even want to look at these. God dang it, I missed out my chance on a Datograph for 50 grand. You know they were 50,000. They were half price. Nobody wanted them. Now they're back to 100 grand. Man, why didn't I get my Datograph? So foolish to not have gotten that when I had a chance. You know what though? It's just, you know what? I can't beat myself up too much about it. Yes, yes, I outlay watches, quite a bit of money for watches, don't I? Don't you? But many of you are like myself in that we outlay them over time. We don't go buy a $50,000 watch, 55,000 out the door, tax, whatever, 50 grand. I mean, I've never spent 50 grand on a watch. I spent 10, 15, 20. I don't even think I've spent 20. So to spring one watch 50 grand, I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to do it. Now my FP Journe that I'm springing 40 grand on, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't believe I actually pulled the trigger on that with that pricing. I can't believe my wife let me pull the trigger on that. Not that she can or does or even tries to control my spending. She doesn't at all. But just that's a big purchase, man, for a watch, for your wife to be with you and not to say, what the fuck are you doing, dude? We got kids. I mean, so, for me to pull the trigger on a 40 grand FP Journe, says a lot about me going to that brand and how much I'm loving to get into that brand. I mean, 40,000 worth, fuck, you know what I mean? Yeah. Um, man, though, life changes, and I got to be perfectly honest with you. The last 2 days have been really bad, and something's coming over me in the last, honestly, like the last 24 hours. I'm starting to have second thoughts over everything I'm doing, like everything I'm doing. Um, like, like maybe I need to start scaling back on my aggressive investments. Uh, Maybe I need to start considering what I am allocating to watches and stuff like that. Uh, Man, life changes, and it just seems like things are going downhill pretty quick. So you always got to reassess your financial situation, and I might need to go into a ultra conservative mode. So hopefully these watch values keep up; they don't go down. Let's see. I just hope my outlook on what's going to happen with the future of the economy is more in line with what the rest of the world thinks. The world thinks we're going to go to hell in a handbasket, and I think we're going to have a roaring 20s. So let's see which one happens. These are all about the same watches. They haven't gotten anything new. They're all the same. They've got everything out here. Looks. Did they get rid of that Daytona? Still up here. You know what? I think back in November, right? Back November, December, we were talking about. I was talking about we're going to see the peak in March, April. I said April of this year, right? So we're definitely at the peak. It's April. It's April, and we're definitely peaked out. Um, I remember saying back then that I thought this was going to be the top. Whatever we are, whatever we end up being in April is going to end up being our top. So is this our top right now, or are we going to go higher? Now this is the question, because we've come to April 1st, which was my latest projection from last November, to say we're going to hit a peak right now this month. And we're definitely at it. There's no doubt we're at it. You're seeing Nautilus at 185. You're seeing the one that I just can't believe, the Daytona for 200. You're seeing Royal Oaks for 80. So, and you're seeing what you thought you'd never see, Aquanauts for 85,000. So, is this the peak? Or are they going to keep going? I mean, is money, is there that much money out there? The fuck, How much money's out there, man? For someone to spend 200 grand on a platinum Daytona. Just, you think the prices are going to stay like this? Maybe a little up, a little down, maybe 10-15% fluctuations, but you don't think they're going to go down again? Well, what happens if we grow into our economy? or our economy grows into us, or vice versa, or whatever I'm trying to say. You get what I mean? Everything I said before. That look, we're going to be. There's a tremendous amount of manufacturing that went on in Russia that was allocated out there. Business, trade, commerce, all that shit. It's all coming back here. We have inflation, but you're going to have COVID's shutting down. COVID's over with. There's no more COVID. Everything's opened up. So if you have we had the lowest unemployment numbers in California come out yesterday or whatever. The lowest unemployment numbers, like 5%. There's no unemployment here. I just think that, the economy is going to go through a huge boom in the next 10 years, 15 years in total. And you're going to see inflation reverse itself. So when that happens, these watches will come down in price because the dollar is getting stronger. You have to think about something. It's not all about inflation. It's also about the USD, the US dollar basket, which is the US dollar in comparison to other currencies. It's not just the dollar, but it's a dollar relative to other currencies. And when the US dollar is stronger than the other currencies, it doesn't matter what the inflation is here. It really doesn't matter. As long as that currency is stronger, then it's good. So yeah, there's inflation, but what I'm saying too is that the inflation, I think, is going to go away, and when it goes away, then all of these overappreciated collectibles should go down in price too, right? Yeah, but it doesn't always stay that way. I'll give you an example. In 2008, 2010, we had the largest credit debacle in our history, right? So sparked on in 2008, but 2010 is when the housing credit crisis imploded. That was year 2010. It was specifically October 2010 it was when the credit shut down and nobody could get credit. You remember that? I actually bought my home that week when nobody could get any money in credit. I went in and swooped up a home. Someone was panic selling, and that's the home I'm living in now, which has essentially tripled in value since I went and swooped it up that worst week of the real estate market history in recent times. That was the best financial move I've ever made in my life, was buying my home during the week of the worst housing credit crisis. But what was the example I was going to give you? That back then when shit hit the fan, luxury goods went to the tank. I mean, how much was a Rolex in 2010? How much was a Rolex in 2010? Right? And the example I was going to give you specifically was that Yadro, the Yadro statues. How it's spelled like this, Yadro. They're collectibles. Little statues of, whatever. Porcelain statues, Yadro porcelain statues. Those are pretty highly collectible pieces. You know what I mean? And my parents swept a whole bunch of those up in 2010 during that crisis. Their home is full of that shit because of that 2010 crisis. They went and bought, like, that stuff went down like 75%. People were selling all that stuff off to live. You know, probably especially senior citizens who had a bunch of that stuff. They just dumped it all. My dad went and bought like the Moses statue for, you know, that thing's worth like, I don't know, 10 grand or something, man. He got that for a couple of grand. And he just stacked up on all those collectibles, the Yadro collectibles, crystals, I don't know, different crystals from different companies and things. He even bought like raw gems, like shit like that, you know? So I don't, everything cycles though. So everything cycles, you know? So I don't know. You can't necessarily say that would never happen. I mean, I would expect at some point, you know, for the economy to expand enough into our current situation to where it catches up with the inflation and everything everybody wants to compound as being a negative thing. I mean, when you think about it, the inflation, let's just use the watch as an example. The watches are going up in value because people are making more money and they have more money and more discretionary money, and they're spending more money on discretionary things like watches. So if things are that good, if things are going that well, what's the negative? I mean, shouldn't there be inflation then? Because everybody's going and buying the same thing and driving up the price and they want it. I mean, shouldn't there be inflation then? Is it necessarily a bad theory of what's going on? You know what I mean? So isn't there a positive to the inflation if you see huge economic growth, domestic product potential? I mean, if the gross national product increases by, you know, I don't know, 5%, 10% as a result of Russia's incapacity, I mean, could that translate to something like that for us? These are the conversations that the world should be having. Well, not the world, but that they should be having on the financial networks or on the CNN or MSNBC. They should be talking about the fucking war. Give a shit about the war. You know, they should be giving that like minimal time. They ain't gonna solve that problem. But what they should do is figure out how to work around it and make our country better. I'm surprised Biden didn't force the hands of the Saudis and OPEC to pump more oil. I mean, that's pretty weak negotiating strength there for him to not have had that happen. They've always increased oil production supply when there's been times when we need them to help out, and they're not going to do it now. Throw a sanction on them. We're Americans. We can take the brunt of the pain. If we got to spend $10 a gallon for a couple of months, we'll do it. We work on principle. We don't care about money. We'll just print more of it. But it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, you know, we're in the luxury watch game. We're in the luxury watch world, and we're looking at it every day, living it every day. Other people don't live in the luxury world every day and look at it and follow it every day. So I think you guys and myself, we have a strong grasp of the markets in general, of inflation in general. Like, I'll give you a good example on that one. I mean, they only just started talking about inflation like a few weeks ago. I mean, right? We've been watching this inflation go on with our watches for 2 freaking years. And you and we have money because we're smart. We're not stupid asses. And so we all know that not only our watches have been going up triple, 4 times over the last couple of years, we know everything else has been too. We already know all this. So why is it that they come out with this inflation bullshit just out of nowhere? Like it's just there out of nowhere. I mean, it's kind of frustrating to me, uh, to be honest. And 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 then and then somebody like Biden wants to come out and say, that the reason we have all this inflation is because of Putin or because of gas. Gas was already $5.50 a gallon before Russia even lined up their first troop on the border 3 months ago. We were already paying $5 a gallon. So the difference between 550 and 650 isn't significant enough to attribute that to Ukraine and what's happened there, because we would have already been 650 without the Ukraine war regardless. So I really think that the Ukraine factor had not even a 1 cent impact on US gasoline, not even 1 cent. So, and if there was a couple of cents, it got offset by the US releasing our own oil reserves, which we did. So I don't know. I think the misinformation out there is we know what's going on. I mean, I know some of you feel the watches can just keep going up in price. And theoretically, I suppose they could, but you got to look at different theories too, like the theory that I'm talking about of our economic expansion. And if we grow into it, will it slow things down that way? What will happen, Um, could these watches just keep going to they're already through the roof, but could they just keep on going and just keep on going? If for that to happen, all of our incomes need to keep increasing. I mean, there's got to be a push and a pull. If we're going to spend 200,000 on a Daytona that was worth 100,000, don't you need to be making more money to justify that differential? You know what I mean? So, man, the Vacheron is going for that much. I think this is like $98,000 when we looked at this at the store. I think this is $98,000 retail. When I looked at these, my son and I went. I took my little boy and we went and looked at this watch. Man, this was just unbelievable. This watch was just wow. Like, I felt like a king when I put this watch on. Really. See you later, fries and mayo. Fries with mayo. Every time I see food, hear about food, it makes me hungry. They don't have that much incoming. I like that. That's kind of neat. Ah, oh man, what time we got? I'm wearing my 1016. 4 a.m. I wonder if I should try to go back to sleep. I was looking at Chrono 24. I'm going to call the stream after this. I'm going to look up this watch real quick, and then we're going to call the stream to an end. And I'm going to go try to lay down for a couple of hours. But my 1016 that I bought from Kraft and Taylor for $10,000. Look how much these are worth. I would say mine is closest to this one right here. Right here. Because I think this one probably has service hands on it or a service dial, because the hands don't match the dial. So, I don't know. It's just these are all worth 20 grand. They're all worth 20 grand. I mean, these look a little special, right? They got papers, this one has a service dial, but it's not period correct. There's no patina. So that one's kind of shitty, to be honest. But for the price, looks like someone's gonna swoop it up. That one actually looks really good in Canada. But yeah, 20 grand. Crazy. I gave him 10 grand for that watch. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's got a period correct service dial that just beautifully aged with the perfect patina evenly throughout. It's just so perfect. That's why I bought it. See that? They're all 15, 20 grand at least. The ones with papers cost a lot more. Here's a really nice one. Well, this one looks really nice. This is a good one right here from just looking at it like that. But 20 grand. I mean, looking at this one right here, seeing how nice it is and everything for 20. And if I want to be fair, then that probably, if that's a legit listing right here, then mine's probably worth about 15,000. Although I could probably get 20 for it just because, but I would just say it's worth at least 15. That's a good one for 20. I mean, looking at this one for 20, I'd have to price all these much lower also. It's actually a good, who's selling this? Who's selling it? I guess you got to log in to see the seller. That's a good one, right? And I'll tell you, if I wanted a Rolex Explorer, I'd be checking this one out. It's pretty original. It's pretty nice. So for 3,500 more, you get a bracelet. And I'll be honest, even though the other dial's kind of beat up a little bit more, I kind of like the other dial more. Well, I like the dial better here, but I don't like the hands. And see, the hands don't really match don't match. Like, are the hands different? See, they don't match. See. So look at that dial. Looks like my dial, but my hands match my dial, and the hands on this watch don't match. So it looks like they have a service dial, period correct, because it's patinaed, but they left the original hands on. That's what it looks like to me. Whereas mine, I have a service dial, period correct, from that time, and the hands also. So it all matches, and it all looks like that back dial. Mine looks even. Mine doesn't look mismatched. And, despite it being a service dial, it's an original tritium service dial, circa correct. It's aged patina. And the thing is about it is that you just look at it, it's absolutely beautiful. It's perfectly clean and absolutely beautiful, which, I mean, that's what I wanted in this watch. I'm wearing a beautiful dialed 1016, absolutely stunning, on a custom strap. It just looks great. But you see how I don't like the mismatched, those dirty ass hands. Dirty ass hands, man. I don't like it. I'd rather have this one. Wouldn't you? Look at this one, looks nicer. Even though it's not, I like. Well, this one. No, not that one. That one's beat up. The green one. Where's the green one at? Right here. Look at that. That looks nicer than the one that had the clean dial. I'd rather have that. The hands don't look fucked up. The patina looks better on this one than it does on this one. See? I still like that. Doesn't match. Man, the patina's got to match. For me, the patina's got to match for sure. So here's one where it wasn't messed with. See, it's original, and it all matches. There's water damage on the dial. So who wants that? But 35,000? It's crazy. Now that's ludicrous. But this green one really looks like a pretty good deal. But I'm sure there's a lot of other ones too. Just got to go shopping. Man, that looks like a lot like my watch. That looks like a service dial too. I mean, I'm not even an expert on those things. There's little things you have to look for: frog feet, this, that, whatever, and they'll usually say it. Oh, right here. See, it says features frog foot dial with creamy loom plots. So I think this is a service dial on this one because of that frog foot dial. I'm not sure if I have that on mine. I think I have to check. I'm not sure if that's what makes mine different too. A service dial. I forgot, you know. Okay, man, I gotta call it a stream, dude. My hands are messed up. I gotta go. Thanks for hanging out, looking at watches with me. Good night. I'm going to bed. See you guys.